You guys are live.
Good morning, everybody. It is February 9th, 2026 already. We're already got like 40 days into the new year. And so any of you that had New Year's resolutions, if you're going in 40 days strong, congratulations. If you guys are still struggling to make those goals, just remember you shouldn't do them yearly, you should do them monthly, you should do them weekly, and in many cases, daily or hourly. And that's what a lot about this book is all about. So I'm going to start sharing my screen because I got something that I do want to share with all of you. We'll go to this one. We'll share that screen and let me go to present actually. All right. Do you guys see it on the screen, kind of like a presentation?
I see the chapter guide right there, Mike.
Fantastic. So as we go into this one, here's a chapter guide. So last week, Mike Allen covered one more identity, one more and living in your matrix. Chapter 3, one more try. He covered chapter 4, one more and the 5 principles of time management. And then he went all the way through number 5, one more emotion, one more association, and one more dream. And I'm taking over today at chapter 8, which is one more question to ask ourselves. However, I want to just recap chapter number 7 because it's so important. I don't think we spend enough time. I think we were running out of time last week with one more dream. And what I like about one more dream, and Adam, I don't know if you see that caption big enough to read it
Yeah,
in that
absolutely.
chapter.
How
Please read
often
that
do
one.
you dream? Dreaming is free, but most of us don't dream enough and enjoy the numerous benefits of this peaceful state of mind. Instead, we become trapped by the imperfections of our past. One more dream is the notion that you'll live your best life by moving into your future instead of fixating on the past. Permitting yourself to dream is the first act that one more people use to create thoughts and actions that lead to breakthrough lives. And that's kind of talked about in one of these chapters. The
Yeah.
dreaming part of it is definitely brought up in the back half of what we're going to go over today.
Oh, absolutely. And it's, there was this commercial, I'm dating myself, it's probably in the 90s, maybe in the 80s, and it was by the California Lottery. And they would show people like in a dream life, like a vacation on a
Hmm.
yacht in a big mansion. They had all of these great things, and it says it only costs $1 to dream, right? And so we do dream boards. And as a family during Christmas, my youngest daughter said, "Hey, I want to do a dream board or a vision board." And so we all gathered around the table and we did a dream board together, right? But the power about one more dream, and I'll bring another quote to it from Walt Disney. And Walt Disney said, "If you can dream it, you can do it," right? And how many of us have watched a movie or a TV show, you fall asleep and you have a dream about that movie or that TV show, right? And that's why a lot of people don't want to watch scary movies at night because they'll dream about it. But the reality is everything that we're listening to on a daily basis, the music, the podcast, the TV, whatever it is that you have going on in your life, the books that you listen to, the people you surround yourself with, all of those will subconsciously affect what you think of and your dreams. And what he talks about in chapter 7 is about programming your dreams, or more importantly, being purposeful with your dreams, telling yourself what to dream about. You have an issue at hand, if you have an idea that you want to do, start dreaming about that. If you want to have a nicer backyard, if you want to put a pool in before the summer, you better start now, right? But it's all of those things that you want to do in life. Start seeing them, dreaming about them, and be purposeful about that. Number 8, Adam, if you don't write, read number 8, and we'll go right into it.
Sure. Chapter 8 is one more question to ask ourselves. The quality of your life is related to the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Asking the right questions indicates that we are thinking the right way. Improving the quality of these questions leads you to truths about yourself, even if those truths are sometimes uncomfortable. You can start with a list of 41 questions and then continue your journey to self-discovery by asking others.
And so, if anybody else wants to unmute themselves as I go in through a couple more screens, we can all read some of these questions. I took pictures right out of the book so you could see how they looked in the book. But also, I have them in a way that I can email them all to you after this training. And so, again, chapter 8 through 12 is what we're covering today. It's goals require standards. If you want to have a good goal, if you want to achieve your goal, if you want to have a better quality of life, you got to have goals. And in order to reach those goals, you got to have standards. How many of you are working with the leads currently that you've been working on for 2, 3 years and you still call them a client? That's a lead, but they're not going to be ready to buy for whenever. That's not a true lead. Put them on your follow up, put them on a drip campaign, and get to finding people that want to buy, sell, or invest in the next 6 months. If you're doing a lot of follow up, 6 months is too long for you. You might want to do it in 5 months or 4 months or 3 months. For somebody like Cindy and Diana Picasso, Mycelia, who do a lot of prospecting, if the people don't want to buy or do business in the next 30 days, it's not a true lead. And so, whatever standards you set for yourself, that's the kind of business you're going to have. So do you consider somebody who wants to buy next year a lead? Put them in your follow-up. They're a future client. Who wants to buy now? So again, your goals, your business, have a set of standards of what a real lead is. Standards remove excess excuses. So now you can't say I have 20 leads. You might have 3 real leads. And when you go, it's accountability. Because when you go to work or when you go back home and when you look at your bank account, who holds you accountable? If it's not being done at work, then it's going to be your significant other, your family. It's going to be your standard of living. So habits compound over time. That's another big one. And
Mhm.
leadership multiplies. Growth lives in inconvenience. So again, when you're growing, when you're learning something new, even if it's for the best, it's still hard to learn. Look, I haven't been to a real gym in like forever. I do something called OsteoStrong, but I wouldn't even know how to use the machines. But I can tell you that if I went back, because I've done it years ago, you're going to get sore and it's going to be uncomfortable. But over time, you're going to feel better, stronger, more fit, and more endurance, right? And so in business, it's the same thing. When you're learning a brand new skill, it doesn't always feel right. It feels a little bit funny. When you're learning a new script, it doesn't flow very easily. And so as you learn things, you get better at it. And that's true with technology. So goals give direction. That's a big one with chapter 8 is your goals got to have direction. You got to know where you're headed. You got to know what it is that you want. What is it that you guys want for this year? I can tell you my vision for our footprint as a company. My vision is not necessarily to grow more than where we're at in the valley. It's to grow our market share. It's to have everybody that's in the company do at least one more transaction than last year. If we have 398 agents right now, we're soon gonna be just over 400 active agents, producing agents. Let's just make it 400 for the sake of arguing. If we had 400 agents right now producing, if everybody did one more transaction, that's 400 more transactions for the year. That would actually put us right at about 2,000 transactions by the end of this year. But because we continue to grow, I think next year we'll end up to about 21 or 2,200 transactions. It's just the power of just one more. What is your average commission? Is it somewhere about $7,800 take home? That's kind of the average in the valley and the average in the company. So if you did one more transaction this year, how would $7,800 net income change your life? If that's not very significant, how about 2 more deals? What does $15,600 look like in your bank account? Is that significant? Do you want 3 deals? Let's go. Do the math, and now you're up to about 23,000, right? So does $23,000 get you excited? What can you do with an additional $23,000 in your savings account? And so the way that you get there is by having increased standards and consistency and having some goals that you can track so you can tell if your outcomes are working or if your goals are working or your methods are working. I used to love analyzing people's numbers because when I analyzed people's number, if they had a tracking sheet and they said, hey, Mike, this week I made 300 phone calls. Out of those 300 phone calls that I made, I talked to 18 people. Out of those 18 people, I got 2 appointments and I closed one. And then we would say, okay, then you got to start kind of changing the time of day that you're calling because you're making a lot of calls, but you're not getting a lot of people to pick up the phone. And I could look at people's numbers fairly quickly and see where they needed help. There was a lot of people who were great at making appointments and then couldn't close for the listing. And in that case, we got to work on their closing skills. Or maybe it was their presentation was weak. And if they went, it could have been a number of things. A lot of times I will tell you, a lot of people went to what I called one-legged listings. They went into a listing presentation and not everybody that was going to make a decision was there. They were making a presentation to just one of the 2 people. And then they're like, hey, I got to wait till my spouse gets home and then I'll tell them everything that you said. They're not going to be as good as doing your presentation after they've listened to it once. You got to make sure that you're there when both people are present. So again, it's by having those goals and those standards. The standard should be if both people that make a decision, if all decision makers are there, however many there is, then you don't go to that presentation. You make an appointment to when all people are there. That should be your standard. And so you really got to have a set of standards in everything that you're doing, especially in real estate and how you're working with your clients. So I hope that makes sense because that's been a long-standing issue for a lot of agents. They're going to presentations, but only one person is there. And then they don't get the listing and they wonder why. And so this is chapter number 8. We're going to go into the important things. And if anybody wants to unmute and read these, great. If not, Adam and I will tackle these. Adam, this is taken right from the book. These are the 41 questions, which I thought we should spend most of today on, because this is 41 questions that he came up with that are just general questions that'll help move everybody that's breathing in a forward direction if they want to grow in life. But these are just 41, and you can come up with a lot of your own. And these 41s were not built and made and written for somebody in real estate. They were just written for anybody who wants to grow and improve their quality of life. So, Adam, if you don't mind, one more questions to ask yourself. Is it large enough? Can you see it on the screen?
Oh yeah, I've got the book right here just in case
Perfect.
I need to, but we've got all of them right here. So
You
like
go
you said,
number, you do the first page, I'll do the second page, unless somebody wants to unmute and also read.
hey, no, let's go with this. One more question to ask yourself to lead an extraordinary life. Number one, what one more thing can I do to show my spouse or my partner I love them? Number two, how can I do one more thing to improve my relationship with my children? Number three, is there one more thing I can do to make my family feel more special? Number four, is there one more thing I can do to show my appreciation to the people I work with? Number five, what's one more way I can adjust my thinking so I make fewer excuses? Number six, what part of this situation can I control right now? Number seven, how is this happening for me and not to me? Number eight, what's one more thing I can do to calm myself down today?
And let's break this down before we go to the next page, Adam. As you went into number one, why do you think that when he wrote the book and he readjusted the questions, why do you think he put family first?
I think a lot of people have realized, I mean, we talk about this kind of in the first chapter of
Yeah.
the one thing you don't get back is time. And it's a big factor because time with your family, it's paramount, I know Michael, for you especially, the time with your family, you've got kids. I don't have kids, but I've got a large family, and I know that the time that I spend with them is something that, we had somebody who passed in our family just over the past week or so. And that's something we already know that that time is not going to come back. So it's one more thing, it's he focuses on family here at the first part of it, the spouse, the partner, the children, the family. Those are the top three that he has specifically because of that. I think because it goes back to the previous chapter about
Yeah.
time and knowing how we can, utilize that because it's something we will never get back. So because of that, yeah, family first. It's not just
Yeah.
a cheeky motto.
No, and I think for any of you that have not yet pulled up Ed Mylett, The Power of One More on YouTube, when you get a chance today or this week, even if it's you're at home and just trying to kill some time, please pull up. There's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of him giving keynote speeches regarding this subject here, which is his book. But one of the things he'll tell you is that his hero is his dad, and that his dad was an alcoholic, and his dad was not always a good person, but he's seen his dad turn his life around and then come back and really live just like an extraordinary life, like a pretty amazing life. And him seeing his dad do that let him know that you can go from being just an absolute person that's addicted, an alcoholic, that just abusive to everybody around, to being somebody that can really be respected and really change your life if you're willing to do the work. So that's number one. That's what he always puts into every one of his keynote speeches. The other one is that him and his wife have a daughter, right? And he was very successful already in business, but he had this fear that he was not going to be able to walk his daughter down the aisle when she got married or be there when she had grandkids or when he had grandkids, and that scared the daylights out of him. And so he started finally changing, going to the gym, eating better, and changed his complete lifestyle. Now he's ripped, he looks buff, he looks like a bodybuilder, right? But that all came because he put an emotion behind his goal. And that emotion and that fear was to not be there for his daughter and not be there for the grandkids that, I mean, they weren't even born yet. I don't even know if he has grandkids yet, but that's what he told himself in order to make his dreams a reality. He needed to have something so emotional, so strong that he could connect with that would motivate him. And for him, it was that vision of his daughter walking down the aisle and him not being there to do that because he was dead because of his health or something else, right? And so when you look at your goals, tie them to something that is so strong for you, so motivating, so ingrained in you that you're going to achieve it. There's going to be no other option, but you're going to do it. And so when you tie those things to what some people call your big why or big motivation, that's what's going to keep you to move forward. And so he starts everything with family first because that's the way he tries to live his life. And then he goes in there to how can I show people that I work with that I appreciate them? Like people like working with people they like. You have all had coworkers, you have all had customers, clients, lenders on the other side, agents on the other side. You guys have all had interactions with people that you don't want to interact with anymore. They were simply jerks. They were hard to get a hold of. They made life
Mhm.
unpleasant. And you don't want to do business with those people ever again, right? And we have those experiences and you learn and you make a mental note. And when you see that red flag again, maybe you avoid that client. But how about the ones that you do like working with? How about the ones that send you a lot of referrals? What do you do to say thank you to them? Are you saying thank you enough? Do you get them a gift card? Do you pop by? Do you send them something in the mail? Do they have kids? Do you send them something for their kid's birthday? Do you send them a gift card? Do you send them a thank you card? Do you send them a birthday card? How can you send appreciation to the people that you work with? Could be your colleagues, could be us, could be your managers, could be whatever we are. But really, in your case, for a lot of us, it's your clients. Because without clients, we don't have a business. And so, how can you show that appreciation to make it more meaningful to where they want to send their friends to do business with you? And so, when you break down these questions, it's really not just about reading them, but it's really breaking them down in a way that is meaningful to you in your life. And so when we're doing this with the book, it's not just about listening and taking notes, but it's about putting some action behind those. So as you go to the next one, I'm going to look slightly off screen because my other screen is over here where I can read it. It says, is there, again, this is question number 9. Is there one more thing I can do to bring myself long-term peace? What's bothering you at night? What is it that keeps you awake at night? Is it financial? Is it the way the business is going? Is it stuff that you can control, can't control? What is it that you can do to bring yourself some peace? Number 10, what's one more way I can worry less about what other people think? Look, this one was a tough one for me, and I got challenged in a variety of ways in the last few months. But I got to worry about what people that know me think and the people that I care about think. That's who I care about. I care what you guys think about me. I care how I interact with you guys. I care about what my family thinks about me, about the people that really know me. The people outside the company that get envious where the company's headed or the company's growing, or maybe we beat them out on a deal and they got upset about it. Or maybe they were on the other side. They're going to say things about you that are not very nice, that are hurtful. Celebrities got to deal with it all over the world because they got haters. You in real estate will have haters because you're going to take a listing in a neighborhood that another agent lives in, and they're not going to like you for it. It happens to you. It's going to happen to them. And so, in this business, how is it that you can do one more way that you can worry less about what other people think? It's okay. You're going to have haters in this business, but just keep moving forward. Don't let it steal your energy. Know who you are as a person. And if you're okay with it, keep moving forward, right? If there's some things that you want to change about yourself, go change them. But if you're happy with the way that you are, if you're doing business the right way, if you're doing business the right way, that's kind of the key word there. Just keep doing business. Don't worry so much about what other people got to say. Number
There's a
11,
reason why there's a quote that goes around for forever, at least for the last 20 years, and it's just haters gonna hate, Mike.
that's
Haters
it.
gonna
Yeah.
hate. It's as simple as that.
Haters are going to hate. And if you're doing something right and if you're doing some business and if you get somebody a listing that you beat somebody else on, they're going to hate on you. It just,
Right.
it's human nature. It's learning to have those things affect you a little bit less. Number 12, is there one more thing I can do so people will see me less different than I see myself? Right. And so won't dwell on that one too much, but what can you do? I can tell you that do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to do something, live up to it. Have some ethics, have some morals, have some guides that you do business with, do business the right way, and you'll be fine. Number 13, what's one more way I can worry less about the past? Think about the past as we all have it, right? Everybody has a past, some good, some bad, some indifferent. Everybody has what I call life experience. And so if you're dwelling in the past, that means you haven't emotionally really sat down and kind of processed what's going on there. So maybe take some time to process it. Maybe go talk to somebody about it. Maybe talk to a friend or a therapist or your pastor or your priest, whatever you do there. Just if you're worried too much about the past, just talk about it with somebody and move forward. Move beyond that. Don't live in the past. Keep moving forward. Don't let the past hold you back. Keep pushing, keep growing. And again, the past is behind you, guys. It's the reason that your windshield is so big and your rearview mirror is so small because you got to go in this direction and stop looking at where you're coming from, right? And so number 14, how can I implement one more way to worry less about the future? That's me. I'm always worried about the future, and some of my friends will tell you that. I got one friend that reminds me all the time, Mike, you live in the future and you work for the future more than anybody I know. And I'm like, I'm trying to live in the now. I'm trying to plan stuff for this weekend. I'm trying to finish my plans for March. I'm trying to, at least in the last 2 years, to be more present and to be aware and just to enjoy life a little bit more. The thing for me is I enjoy work. I love working. I love being around people. So to me, being a workaholic feels good. I enjoy it. But also, what it's done for me, it's like, oh man, my wife and I are empty nesters. The kids all grew up. How the hell did that happen so quickly? And so now it's like, oh, now two kids are in Fresno. Now we spend a lot of time up in Fresno trying to, get some of that time back. And so don't worry so much about the future. If you're doing the right work today, you can enjoy life now and be prepared for the future. And for me, that just means investments and rentals. So the future is pretty much taken care of. I just didn't realize it because I didn't sit back to take a look. Number 16, what's one more way? Sorry, number 15, I skipped. What's one more way I can get more excited about the future? Make plans. It's been working for me. I'm learning to enjoy the now and the future, and I just make plans and I look forward to it. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm off on Friday. We got a nice weekend down in the middle of nowhere over by San Diego that we're going to do. Then we come back, and then in March we got another quick trip. And so little things like that keep me going. We'll be up on the 21st. We'll be up in Fresno with our two kids. We're looking forward to just spending the day there. It's like they're on the calendar, and I look forward to it. And it seems weird to like calendar time in with your kids, but for me, that's how my life is, and I look forward to those days. And so for me, putting stuff on my calendar is extremely important. A lot of you have heard the story, and so I apologize to you if you heard it 50 times. But what I used to do, I went digital about a year and a half ago. I used to buy a big calendar, a poster size calendar, and in my office at home, it hung on the door. Then when the door was open, nobody could see it. And what I would have everybody in the family do, my kids and my wife and everybody, we would plan the family vacation. We'd put it on that calendar. Everybody's kids, we put it on the, sorry, kids' birthdays, put it on the calendar. Nieces, nephews, whoever, it went on the calendar because if it wasn't in my calendar, I would work through it. And so for me, that used to work well. And so now it lives on my digital calendar. I'm 100% digital on my calendar. I say that and I'm looking at a calendar on my desk, but that's more of a scratch pad. But I will tell you that for me, what gets me excited on my future is seeing it in my calendar, looking forward to we have something going on with the kids or the next trip or the next thing going on. That for me gets me excited. Like, oh, I'm looking forward to that day. So again, what gets you excited? Find out what works for you. But for me, seeing it on my calendar, it's really meaningful and really gets me excited for what's coming my way. Number 16, what's one more way I will practice gratitude? Look, I pray. If I don't pray at night because I fall asleep, I'll pray the first thing in the morning, but I try to pray at night before I go to sleep every single night. And I do it out loud because I used to pray in silence in my head. And then I realized that if it's in silence in my head, nobody knows I'm praying. So now I do it out loud. And that's also really meaningful when you're traveling. The kids are in the room next door, right? Like they can hear you praying. And so if your kids still live at home, great. If you have a spouse that's in the same room with you and they hear you pray, it's just more meaningful. Not only do they learn how to pray by listening to your words, but maybe they might take it on to do it on their own. And number 17, how do I implement one more way to procrastinate less and protect the valuable asset of my time? Look, time is the most valuable asset any of us have. It's the only thing you can't get back. It's the only thing that you can't buy. And so protect your time, but more importantly, stop wasting so much time. Stop binging so much on TV during regular work hours. Look, I like to binge a couple of good shows here and there, but man, protect your time, be productive with it. Because the more productive you can be with your time, the more free time you'll have to do stuff that's really meaningful with either your significant other or your kids or whoever's important in your life. And so stop wasting time. That's number 17. It's your most valuable asset. Number 18, what's one more way I can be less of a spectator and more of a participant? Just get out there and do the work. How many of you are not doing 24 transactions a year? How many of you are not doing 12 transactions a year? Look, if you're doing less than one transaction a month, you're in a spectator sport. You're on the bench half the time. Everybody with a license who does this and doesn't have another full-time job is capable, in my opinion, of doing at least two transactions a month. But at the very least, one transaction a month. That's 12 a year. And so if you want to be less of a spectator in real estate, it's find a way to get at least one transaction closed a month. And you're not going to close every deal you get. So your goal should be two a month. So that if you close half of everything, then you get an escrow, you still end up with 12 at the end of the year. And if you're not having goals that are at least that, you're okay being a spectator. And you're okay living a life that's just comfortable and just getting by and being comfortable. But you're not pushing yourself to everything that you could be. And if you want to have a little bit more, you have to do a little bit more. And the reality is that once you do this and you get good at it, it doesn't feel like more work. For me, when I'm busy and really going, I get more done and it feels like less work and it's more enjoyable. When I'm just like not really busy, like I don't want to do anything, right? It's like it kind of holds you back. And so anybody who's ever had a deadline that you're just trying to meet and you just get into the zone and you're working, that feels a lot better. And all of you know what I'm talking about. And so try doing this business in the zone. Try pushing yourself to where you're always hitting on all cylinders. Some of you have V8, some of you are V6, some are inline four cylinders, but whatever you are, hit on all your cylinders, right? But at least 12 of a year, one a month. By God, I mean that's going to give you a decent living because after taxes, that's about 130 grand in your pocket, right? And so start making that your goal. All right, that was number 18. Number 19. Can I do one more thing to ask myself hard questions, even if I know I won't like the answers? Man, these are tough because number 19 is holding yourself accountable, and it is hard because you don't want to ask that question. Like you look at your income last year and whether you were happy with it or not, and you look back, could I have done one more deal? Could I have made two more deals? Could I have had the opportunity to close a few more? Could I have visited some new construction in the area and just done some social media marketing and had people come my way and then I sign them up at the new construction neighborhood? And all I've done is taken a few minutes of my time to meet them out there. And now I get a check in the mail in a few months. I mean, how many of us are missing those opportunities with new construction? Because we're just not taking the time to know enough about the builders. And so that's one for me that I just, number 19 is difficult because what's one more thing you could ask yourself a hard question, even if you don't like the answer, is did you miss some money? Adam, you talk to agents all the time, man. Is there one more thing that you or somebody could have done where it would have made an impact in a meaningful way for somebody?
Well, with this one, I mean, it's speaking directly to of Murphy's Law. So
Yeah,
if you're not familiar with Murphy's Law, it's people have the mindset of whatever can go wrong will go wrong.
yeah,
And most people ask themselves what could go wrong rather than doing just having the opposite mindset, which it
yeah,
burns me up inside. That's my one more. I wish I can give just one more piece of motivation to everybody on that because, asking yourself hard questions and
yeah,
it's tough. Most people, like you said, they don't like the answers because it immediately goes into that negative synapse that fires and shoots it with a negative response, unfortunately. So with our agents here, and I know this goes across every office there,
yeah,
it's we talked about it the same thing last week, of being a little too comfortable and not wanting to go out and utilize those extra few, like you said, with new construction right there, it's a few minutes time just to get people signed up. Say,
yeah,
hey, are you going there? Do you want to go check them out? If it works out, great. Some of these places you've got to renew them every 90 days, but some of them are good for a year.
yeah.
If
True.
if your client goes back there, hey, you just take them there once, they'll take care of the rest. With our new construction, it's the same thing to where we tell agents, bring them over, we'll take care of them for you. They're your client, you're going to get taken care of, but we'll do the heavy lifting. So for
Yeah,
us in our agents, and when you're talking to your clients, they're still going to be your clients, but you've now taken off a large majority of your workload. You've
yeah.
given yourself that much more time.
And thank you, Adam, for that. And for me, 19 and 20 go hand in hand because 20 says, what's one more way I will tell myself it's okay to fail and learn from my mistakes? And as you were talking, Adam, one of the things that comes up for me on number 19 and number 20 is when agents come to me and they have a deal, and this is for all the managers here, when they ask us for help in keeping a deal together, I really like it when we find a way to keep a deal together, right? And when we lose a deal and it's out of our control because a buyer or a seller has made a decision that we have no control over, it's like, could I have seen that coming? Could
Mhm.
I have maybe come up with a different solution to try to keep that deal together? And so it's not about thinking, man, I made a mistake and holding yourself back and feeling negative or down or depressed about it, but rather it's take a lesson from it and keep moving forward. Thomas Edison said he found 10,000 ways that a light bulb didn't work before he got the light bulb right. Right. And so he failed 10,000 times if those of us choose to look at it that way. But he looked at it as I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work till I found the right one. And so for you, just look at them from life lessons. Whatever it is that happened, a deal fell apart, you didn't get the listing, whatever it is, what can you do differently? What can you learn from that? And it's okay to call the customer back and say, hey, Mr. Smith, why didn't you list with me? This is what I do for a living. I just want to make sure that I get better at my job. Would you be so kind as to share your reasons why? And sometimes they'll tell you like, oh, that was just I'm going to go with my cousin, and I just wanted to hear your price opinion. And in that case, you did nothing wrong, right? They were just using you as a sounding board to make sure that their friend or relative was going to do a good job. And so asking those questions is important because sometimes in our head we make it about us when it's not. Number 21, is there one more way to be a good steward with the money I have been blessed with? Self-explanatory. Some of us have been blessed with more money than others, and some of you have a knack for making a lot of income. Some of you have a knack for finding a way to make the money that you need to make the bills to get the bills paid. And so wherever you are with it, what can you do to be a good steward of that money? Should you put some away for a rainy day? Should you put some in savings? Should you put some, what is it that you should be doing? That's kind of we'll leave that one alone because that one can go in so many different ways. Number 22, what's one more way to ensure my values are consistent with my standards and my goals? I'll just tell you, don't do business in the gray area. Do business the right way. That way you don't have anything to hide from in the future. Make sure that you're working when you're supposed to be working, you're making the calls when you're supposed to be making the calls, that you're calling people back when you're supposed to be calling back. And if you're doing those things and asking for referrals, your business will grow because there's so many people that are not doing the basics of business. And if you do that, of just taking care of that client, your business will grow. Number 23, in my work, is there one more way I can become an effective leader? Look, I hear that. I see the word on the page. I hear it when I said it, effective leader. The reality is that all of you are the leader of the transaction. Your client hired you to list their house and to deal with all the negotiations and the paperwork because they wanted you to take on that stress. They see you as the leader in that transaction. You're leading that transaction forward. Your buyers that are working with you, they want you to find in the property. They can find a lot of them on their own now in social media and with the online services like Zillow, Realtor.com, Century21.com. All of those are out there, but they still need somebody to open up the door to do the contract to push them forth through everything that we do. And so you are the leader of your own business. You're all 1099 independent contractors. You are the leader of your business and start looking at it that way. Don't think about your manager or your team lead as your leader. You, as the agent, are the leader of your financial household, of your business. And so start thinking of your way as that leader. Really, really important. That's something that I see a lot of agents just don't think of themselves that way. And you really need to because you own your own business. You've decided to do business with us at Century 21 Jordan Lincoln Company, and we appreciate you and we're grateful for that. But you have built your brand with a Century 21 brand and you own your business. We're here to try to make your life easier, better. We'll help you learn, help you grow, but it is your life, it is your business. Adam, take it away on 24. And if you want to, we can stop after each one and kind of break them down.
Sure. Number 24. What one more way can I become healthier? Speak, Mike.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at a bag of snacks that I have here that I like need to get rid of, right? And so, like here, I got I like gummy bears, but these are like healthy gummy bears, right? They're like a supplement. And so I'm just doing a couple things differently. I walk once a day over to grocery outlet. It's about 700 steps in one direction. It's about 1,500 steps turnaround. And I go in there and get fresh fruit almost a couple times a week at least. It's not daily. And then I bring it back. I leave it in the break room, and then I leave some on my desk to eat. And so I'm changing from processed food snacks to just something a little bit healthier. Anyone who's in Visalia knows that when I go to lunch, I walk. 80% of the time that I go to lunch, I'm walking somewhere and I'm either having lunch at that place or I'm bringing lunch back to my desk and I'm walking back. And so during my lunch hour, I typically get in about 3,000 steps, sometimes more. And so, what can you do? My wife and I have a daily goal of 11,000 steps a day. And there are times where we're tired, getting ready for bed. And we're like, shit, we don't have our steps. So we get up and we go for a walk. And so, sometimes it's simple, Adam. Just take a walk.
That's right. That's right. Well, 25 and 26 kind of go hand in hand with that.
Mhm.
25, how can I make one more change to my diet to lose weight? And 26, what's one more exercise I can do at the gym to burn fat or pack on muscle?
Keep going. For me,
Now,
I'm like,
well,
what's a gym?
yeah, I wasn't sure with 25 of one more change to the diet to lose weight. That goes back to kind of what you were talking about at the beginning of this,
Yeah.
of the New Year's resolution. The New Year's resolution is, Well, that's whenever everybody knows it's the gym's busiest time for that first week,
Yeah,
and then it goes away because it's just there for a week. You've got a goal, but you haven't created those standards to get to those goals. Mike, go back. You went back one page. Get us back to the
I
question.
apologize. I did that by accident. There we go.
That's all right. You were excited. You were making one more, page change.
That's right.
Um, but yeah, that one more change to the diet. I mean, hell, everybody was, not everybody, but there were a lot of people that had Super Bowl parties, and that's something to where all of a sudden the diet that you had for January,
Yes.
did that go out the window yesterday? Probably, but did it not?
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
some
for
of
me,
you did
yeah,
not,
I
and
still
you
had chips and some dip, and then some hummus and pita chips. But really, I made salmon and veggies for our Super Bowl dinner. You
look
know.
at that. See, and right there, you made the change to the diet,
Yeah.
and you're making sure that that's going to have a positive net effect for you right there. For those of us that did not eat as healthy as you, Michael,
No, no,
congratulations
I
to
had
you.
bean dip, man. I had bean dip and hummus. No, no, that's not necessarily healthy.
All right. Yeah, thanks for making the rest of us feel good about that. But we recognize, okay, we splurged yesterday, and so how are we going to do, like this says, that one more exercise, just one more change to adjust for what we had. I'm going to have a hell of a lot more water today. I'll tell you that. That's one
Yeah.
change I'm going to make today. Exactly. We're right there. So let's go to 27. What's one more thing I can let go of that's been holding me back and that I'm better off without? Mike, you've got this
Yeah.
one circled.
Yeah. So, for me, what's one more thing I can let go of that's been holding me back and that I can do better without? For me, look, for me, I've been purging. I've been getting rid of a lot of things at home. I mean, even cleaning up the desk. I hold on to things because I might be able to use them someday, and they're my garage. Like I might need this for a repair. I might just it becomes clutter. And when you go into your bedroom and it's not clean, or your closet and it's not organized, for me, that I carry that tension with me throughout the day. And so for me, getting rid of things and donating things has been hard to do because the way I grew up, I always wanted to hold on to everything, but it's been really freeing because that mental space can go elsewhere. And so for me, it's been a learning lesson, and it really happens by accident, just because we were renovating the house and we had to get rid of everything for a while. It was all in boxes, and I'm like, shit, if it's been in box for a year, do I really need it? So it
Mhm.
just went away. And so for me, that was just meaningful in that way.
Yeah, no, that's good. So 28, how do I give myself one more block of time to let my mind wander and daydream? At the very start of this chapter, if you guys have read the book, I'm not sure how it is on the Audible, but on the very first part, the first quote, I even have it written down here. Do you ever think about what you think about? Because people start going, they start wandering, they daydream quite a bit. And before they realize it, they don't know where they're at. Their mind is in a
Yeah.
completely different place right there.
Yep.
So it's something that I took and I wrote down because that's what happens. I mean, hell, half of us probably do that whenever we're driving from place to place. You get so locked in, and the next thing you know, you've been driving for an hour because you've done it so many times. What happened? Where did that time go right there? It happens
Yeah.
way too much for me. Anytime I lived in Morro Bay for 10 years, just that drive back and forth. I have no idea how I got to the 46, 41 interchange, but by the time I realized that, how, hey, I'm
Yeah.
alive. Okay, good. I made it.
You were on autopilot.
Exactly. And I think a lot of us do go on autopilot.
Yeah, absolutely.
29. What's one more thing I can eliminate that's stopping me from doing the things I could be doing? And number 30, what's one more way I can change my thinking so I complain less? You
Yeah.
have both of those ones highlighted.
Yeah, so number 29 for me is huge because what's one more thing I can eliminate that's stopping me from doing the things I could be doing? And some of you can relate to this, some of you may not be able to. But, I always wanted to, not just make my kids proud through the actions that I do and to have them be not so much proud, but to be kind of a role model for them. Right. And so we do that, but we don't always think of what they're seeing. And if we're telling them to do something, but we're not doing it ourselves, then it really they see your actions and they hear your words, and do the two match or not? And also, here's the big one: is for some of us that didn't grow up with a lot of people who were successful in our life, we feel bad sometimes for having success, and we feel bad because you want to bring everybody with you. At least that's what's my case. And so sometimes it feels like like imposter syndrome, or maybe like you don't deserve it. And I think for me was the better that I can do, I can set a role model, not just for my kids, but also for my nieces and nephews, and let them know it doesn't matter where you started in life. It matters where you want to get to, and are you willing to do the work to get there and live your way in life in such a way to get there. And so for me, there was a lot of mental things kind of hold me back. I had a lot of ceilings, that I just kind of forced myself to be in. And so for me, it was a mental thing of letting that go.
It's tough for a lot of people. I mean, the same
Yeah.
thing. This is all kind of falling back to what we talked about last week of, your circle, because you do
Yeah.
outgrow certain people, and you know that there are some things that are holding you back. It could be things you're doing. It could be individuals that are, stopping you from doing what you want to do. And like
Yeah.
you said, you've got to punch through that ceiling. And it's, not the easiest thing, but when you do, you are grateful that you did.
Oh, absolutely. And there's we hold ourselves back more than anybody ever else will.
Yeah.
No one's going to hold you back. It's not going to be your boss. It's not going to be somebody from an old job. It's not going to be an old relationship. It's going to be your mental capacity to let things go. Stop living in the past and start bringing yourself forward. 31.
Absolutely. 31. Is there one more thing I can do to help somebody in pain who really needs me? Number 32. What's the one more thing that has provided me with the most bliss recently? This is a good question to ask for everybody out there.
Yeah.
Just think about that for yourselves, for everybody that's on there listening right now. What is something that you've done recently that's, provided bliss, that's given you joy? You did something good just out of the goodness, the kindness of your heart. I know everybody here has something that they've done. If you want to throw it in the chat, throw it in the chat.
Yeah.
You
Throw it
don't
in the
have to,
chat.
but think about that and really own that, because you didn't just, you did that for yourself partially, but you saw somebody, and it goes back to number 31 right there of, what can I do to help somebody in pain? We don't know what's going on with the person right next to us most of the time.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on. There's 27 people in here. Mike, you and I, there's things going on with 25 other people on here we have no idea about.
Yeah. Everybody has a home life. Everybody has a life outside of how we know them.
Exactly. So, the idea of, kindness and just hell, just saying hello,
Yeah.
sending a text message, letting people think, remind them that you're thinking of them, that you have a positive thought. That
Hmm.
one little instance really does go such a
A
long
long
way.
way.
Working in grocery stores for as long as I did, trust me, I saw thousands and thousands of people. I saw on a daily basis. And people may think thousands of people. Yes, I worked at Trader Joe's. I managed a couple of them. So yes, there were thousands of people that were in there on a daily basis. And you could just tell, sometimes people don't want to be bothered. That's okay. But, the ones that are there that are just kind of, maybe they're wondering, you don't know. But just by simply stopping, asking them, hey, are you doing okay? Is there anything I can do for you? That goes a long way. And it's a meaningful moment and a meaningful interaction that you just had with that person that could easily change their mood. And that's that one little moment of bliss that
Hmm.
it's cheap. It's not
Yeah.
costing you anything.
No, sometimes, yeah, like you said, it's a smile, a hello, just something pleasant. Number 33, can I take number 33 just because
Take
for me
it.
it's meaningful? Number 33 says, how can I do one more thing to handle conflict better? And so I've been on this quest to understand myself better and human nature better. And one of the things that I didn't even realize, and this is going to sound so dumb because so many of you know figured this out as a kid, but I didn't. How can I do one more thing to handle conflict better? It wasn't always my intention to say something to hurt people's feelings. I drop F bombs here and there, and I'll curse once in a while. And I really have toned that back. I think I let one out on last week's meeting, and it was the first one like in 6 months. I got to be careful that what I say, even though I mean it with a certain intention not to be negative, can be taken a negative way. And it's more about the impact that you're having on the other person. And so, if I could just challenge all of you in a way to handle conflict better, it's not about what your intention was when you said something, it's about how it landed with that person and the impact that it had on them. On the other way around, if you've ever been on the other side and somebody has ever said something negative to you that doesn't even know you, or maybe to your religion or to your gender or to your ethnicity, you'll understand that it is the impact that is has is much more important than what the intention was. And so sometimes a lot of us like to joke around, but the impact doesn't land as a joke. And so if you want to handle conflict better, I would just challenge you to try to understand the impact, not only that you have on other people, but that they may have had on you, and just depersonalizing it and making it, it wasn't about me. It's whatever that person is going through. So again, understanding impact if you're the one saying the words, and understanding that from the other side, it's whatever they have going on. It's not about you. And that those two things, to be able to look at them with those two things, will really, really help you to move forward in tough situations. Take it away on 34.
34. What's one more thing I can do to better deal with the people in my life who drain the energy out of me? These bloodsuckers, they're always all around us, they want to take our energy and just sap us.
Yeah.
There's a giant tree that just saps our energy and takes everything away. For me, Mike, that's pretty simple. Just disengage.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really
It's
is.
setting boundaries. You disengage through setting that boundary. Yeah.
It sounds it really does sound easy to do, but for a lot of people, it's not.
Mm-mm.
I mean, people are get cornered in conversations a lot. This is something I was at a Super Bowl going back to yesterday. I was at a Super Bowl party yesterday, and I don't necessarily like to sit at. That doesn't have anything to do with the game, but I like to just stand, even whenever we're at events. If anybody ever sees me at our Century 21 events, if you saw me at Jared James, I wasn't sitting. I'm usually standing. I'm walking around the room. I like to see what's going on. Part of the reason was yesterday, I can see somebody and I just recognized, I felt like George Costanza. I could sense pain in that person. So I knew like they were in that conversation a little too long. They needed somebody to be the buffer and just kind of slide in there and walk them out of it because they weren't sure how to handle the conflict of getting out of a conversation they didn't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
happily jumped in there to be that buffer and kind of give them the escape route.
Yeah.
So it's just there's these energy suckers, they're all over the place, Mike.
Yeah, you set some boundaries, and sometimes you got to love family from a distance. Because sometimes the energy suckers can be related to you in some kind of a way, and so setting appropriate boundaries. And it's if you're not used to it, if you're not done that, if that's not something that's normal, it does feel difficult at times. But yeah, you got to do it for your own safety
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
mental
Number
peace of mind.
35, is there one more thing I can do to carve out more time to be mindful and intentional?
So yeah, I have this app on my phone that I suggest everybody gets. It's called Insight Timer, and there's 3 to 4 minute long, kind of meditation sessions, or I do them typically between 5 and 10 minutes. And meditation to a lot of us feels weird. It feels like some crazy people go and meditate, but really what it is just background music. You can do it either with somebody talking you through the exercise or just listen to it, and it allows you to de-stress. So if a lot of you are bringing homework with you and the stress of homework with you, and it's not helping your home life, then find a way to meditate on the way home or listen to it on the way to the way home in the car, something just to help relieve and decompress before you get home.
Yeah, and I mean, there's now apps on the phone. People have their Aura rings that
Yeah.
they're tracking themselves to
Yeah.
see what's going on with them, physically, mentally. And there's, like I said, there's another app on your phone. There's something called Brain Rot.
Uh,
That's an app that people can use right there. It's basically, it's to help you focus. It, gives you limitations on certain apps so that you're
yeah.
not just going like this, scrolling
Yeah.
up and down all day long because people get stuck in that time loop. And the next thing you know, you're watching videos from Family Feud
Yeah.
from
You went on a rabbit hole.
1991.
You're just
Exactly. They just keep going because those algorithms focus on what you stay longer on. And so they're going to keep pushing those same things right there. So carving
yep.
out more time, be intentional, be mindful
Yep.
of that. It's tough because we all do it, and that's fine. We need those escapes. I'm not saying don't do it, but just be mindful, be aware of that. And that's what the question, that he's asking us right there.
Yeah.
We're at 9:50 right now, Mike. So let's go 36. What's one more thing I should do to stop holding grudges?
I mean, just say something to this. Holding
Please.
grudges only holds you back. The person that you're holding the grudge on has already lived. They've already moved on. They're living their life. They don't even know that they're still affecting you. A grudge only affects you. Let it go. Forgive. Move forward. Even don't forgive them. Forgive yourself. Forgive whatever it is. Move the hell forward because a grudge only affects you. That other person is still living their best life, and they got you stuck. And sometimes their intention was to get you stuck by telling you whatever they told you or
Yeah.
doing whatever they did. So just move forward because it ain't helping you, and they don't care that they've hurt you in some kind of a way.
It's not worth your time. It's
Yeah,
it, it's really not in the long run of scheme. It really, really, truly is not. We're better than that. You're better than
yeah,
that. Number 37. What's one more thing have I learned in life that I can pass on as a mentor to others?
yeah.
It's Go ahead.
Write it down, leave it in a book, send somebody a quick message. more than anything, people will remember you for your interactions, and just remember that your interactions matter, because even though you may not think about it, they stay with them. Your actions, your interactions, your smiles, your words, kind or bad, stay with them.
No, absolutely, 100%. Me as a mentor, as a leader, somebody in management for years, I've said this to people on here before. The motto that I have is, and it's been this way for as long as I can remember, but I aspire to inspire. If the people around me, if I can't build them up how I want to, I'm not doing what I should be doing. And that's me personally. And that's what I always want to do with people that I work with that I interact with. That will be for as long as I have a breath in my body.
Right on.
Number 38, what's one more thing I can do to enjoy my work more?
Get better at it, because when you get better at your job, it doesn't feel like work. When you enjoy your work and it feels productive and it feels meaningful and it feels like it's providing you good living, you'll want to do more of it.
You said this earlier. I mean, you enjoy working. I mean,
Yeah.
you actually enjoy it. And I think a lot of people have gotten in this business and they have realized that they can enjoy themselves. They can do the balance because it's your time. Whatever you do with your time, hey, congratulations, but you want to make a living with it. But there are so many ways that you can enjoy work. And then when you enjoy it, guess what? It's not work anymore. It's
Yeah.
not this just thing that you have to do on a regular 8 to 5 basis. Work, I'm with you, Mike. I've always enjoyed what I do. And otherwise, why would I do it? I don't want to be stuck
Yeah.
somewhere. A lot of people do. They get stuck in positions they don't want to be at, and it drains them rather than,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, it kills people's souls. Everybody knows somebody who has that.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back. There you go. Number 39.
39, was I curious enough to ask one more question to seek out answers to important questions in my life today?
Just ask more questions than anything that you're doing in life. We have a few minutes, and I knew we only had 41. So here's 40. What's one more prayer I need to have, or a scripture I need to hold closer in my faith life? For those of you that are not religious or not very faithful, if you guys are spiritual instead of faithful, whatever it is for you, change number 40 to whatever question you are. This is just number 40 in the book. And so this may be meaningful to you. It may not be, but it's in the book. It's worth covering. Some of us can hold some things just closer to heart to remind us of what life's purpose is about. Number 41, is there one more way I can thank and honor my God for the gifts I've received today? I start every prayer with a thank you. Thank you for what I have. Thank you for keeping us safe. Whatever it is in the day. And so understand that, again, as there is another chapter that we're going to do at the very end of this book, that again, we're going over the book and it has it in there. So for some of you that have a different views, that's okay to have different views. We're not trying to force this on you. It's part of the book that we're covering. But for a lot of us that are believers, it's just important to keep that close and to have reminders about it. One more standards, chapter number 9. I look, the way the book is written is there's big chapters and then there's follow-up chapters to help you do better. In this case, for number 8, to ask yourself more questions. But number 9 is about performance. You perform to your standards. If you have very low standards of what you consider a client to be, then you're going to be stuck spinning your wheels and getting frustrated in this business. But if you raise your standards to somebody that wants to buy in the next 30 days, 60 to 90 days, then your standards will improve. Then you're going to work harder to find people that want to do business now. And as a result, you're going to spend less time spinning your wheels and more time prospecting for real clients. Non negotiables: remove decision fatigues. Non negotiable is, I'm going to prospect for 1 hour today. I'm going to prospect for 2 hours today. If I don't prospect on the phone, I'm going to go door knocking, because we have great weather right now, for the most part, for an hour. Right. And so you have to have non negotiables of how much prospecting or follow up you're going to do in a particular day. And so low standards hide behind excuses. We all have excuses, and we can say it's too foggy and I couldn't get to the office, so I'm doing this out of Zoom. Just because it was foggy doesn't mean you couldn't get up and get ready and be ready to go. You still get ready for your day. And so have higher standards. Number 10 was about one more habit. Habits beat intensity. And what he says, for example, if you ever go back and watch him on YouTube, as he says, even though he's been working out now for about 25 years, ever since he was on that challenge to get healthier, he hasn't done a set of 10 in 25 years. He's done 11 or 12 or 13, because when he gets to his rep of 10 in the gym, he does one more. And sometimes that one more turns into another and another. And so your habits beat intensity. Your habits are what you're about. And so if you have poor habits of doing just the least amount of work that you have to do to get by in life, then that's what you're going to get. Small habits, though, small positive habits compound quietly. They can be good or they can be bad. Making a few more calls, to asking a few more questions. Consistency creates momentum that you can't replace. Consistency is the key, in my opinion, to everything that we do in life that you want to be successful at. Diet, exercise, health, business, relationships. Is there a friend that you haven't talked to in about a decade, but if you see him, it's still, it still feels like a friendship, like the time disappears, right? And with some, if you don't have that connection, it feels like the friendship has gone away. It's the consistency. And so again, consistency is important because it helps build not just momentum, but it helps bring you closer to your clients in a way that is meaningful, in a way that they're going to send you more business. And you got to be consistent. If they call you and you call back today and they call you tomorrow and you don't call them back for 2 days, that's not consistency. Be consistent in your actions and in your words. Here's multipliers and inconveniences. This is chapter 11 and 12. These are the last two that were in my book. It's leaders, or sorry, in my thing to cover for today. It's leaders elevate environments. Attitude multiplies in outcomes. Ooh, attitude is great. Have you ever been in a room where somebody has a terrible attitude and they kill the vibe in the room and people are scared to speak up? Have you ever worked at a job where there was a supervisor or a boss that way or an owner that way? Attitude multiplies the outcome. Have you ever worked somewhere where it was enjoyable? The supervisor, the manager, the owner, whatever it was fun to be around, was productive, was leading by example, and then the environment grows and there's more results and you don't mind going to work. In fact, you enjoy going to work. So your attitude multiplies your outcome. Are you somebody that's easy to work with? If you're easy to work with, your clients are going to love working with you, even during stressful situations. It'll still be stressful, but they're going to be glad to have you on their side. And so again, you're the leader and you get to elevate the environment that your clients experience when they're working with you through a real estate transaction. Your attitude is really important. Even if you had a bad situation at home, like something stressful happened, your heater broke, your AC broke in the middle of summer, whatever it is, don't always bring that into work, right? It's the attitude. You don't want to bring that energy with you. And then discomfort signals growth. Whenever you're uncomfortable in something like learning a script, learning technology, learning whatever it is, you're growing, you're learning something brand new. Any of you who's ever been to a gym, anybody who's ever gone for a walk or a run or a hike and they're sore the next day, it's because you haven't used that muscle very much and now you're sore. It's the same in business. And so you want to grow. And when it feels uncomfortable, that means you're doing a good job and you're growing. Here's chapter 9. It was number, and again, we can send this out to everybody. It was 9, 10, 11, and 12. Next week, we learn about several things, but here's the end of the book. Adam, please read the highlighted line.
One of the immutable laws of the universe is that everything comes with an expiration date.
That's it. Everything has an expiration date. And so you got to ask yourself, are you asking yourself the right questions? Because none of us are getting younger. Absolutely none of us are getting younger. And so a lot of us wait for someday. Someday I'll take the vacation. Someday I'll do this. Someday I'll take $1 million listing. Someday I'll make 300 grand. Someday I'll make 100 grand. Whatever it is for you in that someday is now, guys. We may not get tomorrow. And you got to have your goal in play today to make things happen. And you can attend the book club and you can read the books and you can come into the office and you can pretend to do the work. But at the end of the day, you know deep down in your soul, in your heart, and in your mind, whether you're willing to admit it or not, whether you're working at your full capacity or not. Do you have another deal in you? Could you do a little bit more effort? Could you make a change in somebody's life? Because the reality is this, is we're in real estate and we do business the right way. And not every licensed realtor in our area does this business the right way. So if a customer ends up with another client, another realtor, I'm sorry, if a realtor that's not you, are they going to get taken advantage of? Are they going to get the best price, the best deal? Probably not. They should be working with you. And so you got to use that as motivation to, I want everybody to work with me so I can take care of them because I have their best interest in mind. And that someday is today. That's the end of my hour.
Mike, nailed that hour for everybody here. Hey, it's the book. So the same thing. After the Super Bowl, I reread the chapters last night to get ready for it. And on the last book club that we had with the greatest salesman in the world, I kind of did say to everybody, hey, you know what? I'm not a voracious reader. I love reading, but do I read nearly as much as I should, as we should? Probably not, because I find excuses for it. That's honestly one thing that I do, and I shouldn't because I always get so much out of out of these books, everything that we've
Yeah.
read so far, I've got a stack of ones that I need to read. And, we constantly need to learn. We need to grow. We need to expand our brain. There's nothing bad that comes from reading. I promise it. If anything, we gain so much more from it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that you were able to join us in this iteration of the book club for our book, The Power of One More by Ed
I
Mylett.
love it.
We got the jump on President's Day. It's not today, it is next Monday.
Yes.
So we will be off
All your
next.
managers and your staff is off next Monday. So next Monday, there is no book club. It'll be the Monday after that.
That's right. We're going to come back strong with the next few chapters. And are we having Sandra or are we having Angela on for that version? I
I
can't.
don't remember who was on next. Who's on first? Who's on second? I don't remember.
Sandra, Angela, one of them, they're going to be coming up for the next couple weeks or so, regardless. So I'm excited to have them in the chair and go back and forth on the next few chapters that we have in this book. But thank you all for joining us this
Yes.
Monday. Do one more thing today. Do one more thing
Yeah.
this week, and make it a good week. Next week's going to be a short week, so we've got a lot to catch up on. If you got clients that need your help, give them a call. If you got a friend that you need to reach out to, shoot them a text. Like Mike says, just reach out. You're going to make their
Hmm.
day, and you're going to feel good about it too. I promise
Oh,
you, man.
absolutely.
Reconnection is never a bad thing. So, with that being said, Michael, thank you very much for your
Thank you,
time
everybody.
today, for leading us on this journey through the power of one more. We'll see everybody back in 2 weeks.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.